Now, this may be the most reactionary video you've ever seen in your life, but if you're looking for authenticity, then you're gonna get it, because I am annoyed right now. Now, yes, Barcelona, Real Madrid. As much as as a City fan, I'm gonna obviously, as anyone would really, think that we're the best team in the world. No one's better than us. Whatever. Obviously, understand that Barcelona and Real Madrid are far bigger than us. That's just the facts. It is what it is. But we need to stop letting them just little bro us like this. Now, I've always probably hated Madrid more than I have Barcelona, mainly because of, like Messi, for instance. Like, I've always thought Messi was well better than Ronaldo. Obviously, Messi played for Barca, Ronaldo played for Real Madrid. So I've always gained more of an attraction to Barcelona than I have Real Madrid. You obviously have people like Pep, obviously came from Barca as well. So stuff like that's always made me be drawn more towards Barca than Real Madrid. Now, this whole Rodri saga and what's gone on in the last couple of years with the Ballon d'Or, stuff like that, just the games that we've had against them in the Champions League and stuff, have pushed even more hatred towards Madrid. Now, I don't put that hatred of Madrid more than like United or Liverpool or anything like that, but still pretty much up there, maybe like on level with Arsenal, on par with Arsenal, maybe Arsenal slightly more, but they're up there, yeah. But this whole thing with Rodri, honestly, it looks like he's going back there. Then it comes out about a day or two ago now that, Barcelona are coming in from him. That's being pushed. Everyone, and I wasn't calling Rodri a snake or anything, but everyone that was calling Rodri a snake is like, yeah, he's going to Barca, which, by the way, why are you celebrating? He's still leaving the club. That's the main thing. Like, fair enough, yeah, it's a bit lighter that he's going to Barca than it is that he's going to Madrid, but he's still leaving, and that's the biggest thing. So why are you celebrating? But Barcelona are doing the exact same thing to us that Madrid were. We were getting onto Madrid for the low offers. Obviously, we don't like them anyway, but they were coming in with low offers, disrespectful, like they've done with many a club before us, with Trent at Liverpool, for instance. But Barcelona have come in and they've done the exact same thing. I've said before, minimum should be 100 mil. I don't care how long he's got left on his contract, which is what people are saying. It's not realistic. You're not going to get 100 mil. Well, guess what? The same lot paid 100 odd mil for Hazard in 1920. When he had 1 year left on his contract. That was about 7 years ago now, and that was Hazard. Fair enough, he was a great player, but Rodri's the best in his position in the world. I don't know, Hazard probably wasn't the best in his position in the world, was he? So they paid it for him, so why not do it for Rodri? But Barcelona have also pissed me off royally, because these lot have done this before. Let's not forget Ferran Torres. They still haven't paid us £8 million for Ferran Torres, by the way. Ferran Torres, £8 million. This big club, and I know they've got the problems with the debt and stuff, but £8 million. We sold them about 5 years ago, nearly 5 years ago, and they still haven't paid us it. They literally took little broing us. Yes, they're bigger than us. Yes, okay. They're always going to do that in a way, because just how big they are in comparison to how big we are. But we are not the same club we were 10-15 years ago. 10-15 years ago, if Madrid or Barca came knocking for one of our players, you probably ain't going to stop them, and you're probably going to have to crumble to whatever price that they're going to offer you, because the player's just going to kick up before someone will leave. But nowadays, yes, okay, we might not be able to stop the players from wanting to go there still, but we are at a place now where what we've achieved in the last 10 or 15 years, where we can be demanding prices. If we cannot get more than 50 mil for Rodri, 50 mil, by the way, I think that's embarrassing in itself. £50 million is just being the best player for the team that won the World Cup. Come on. Seriously, at 50 million, 45 million pounds, yes, 15 mil plus in add-ons, but that's in euros. If we transfer that to pounds, it's 38 mil. Just to put that into context, and I love this bloke with every fibre in my body because of what he's done for us. But we, in 2011, 15 years ago, paid about the same amount of money, 38 mil, for Sergio Aguero in 2011. Now, Sergio Aguero by far made the claim to be one of the best strikers in the world with what he'd done for us. And he was still one of the hottest prospects in the world when we bought him from Atletico. Still a very good striker, but he was nowhere near being the best striker in the world. And we paid 38 mil for him then. Rodri is the best player in his position in the world. He's actually got a claim. Maybe it's to do with the way football is now, and maybe he wouldn't if it was a bit stronger, but he's actually got a claim to potentially win the Ballon d'Or this year, and we're selling him. I just know we're going to be selling him. I know, I've got this feeling in me that they're not going to have the minerals, because we love sticking to this policy, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, of selling a player when he wants to leave. That's not a bad thing. It stops them from kicking up a fuss like we've seen with Isaac at Newcastle, whatever, other situations. But it's just like we're letting them walk all over us, and it's just going to keep happening and happening and happening, because you're not putting your foot down whatsoever. If you seriously think that we're not going to do this, they're not going to go up with their prices. They're not going to go up, so they're going to wait for a free. They think they've got him. Let him leave on a free. If they're not going to match the price, let him leave on a free next season, because £38 million in today's market is ridiculous. I talked about Ferran Torres before. He cost us 50 mil, by the way, Ferran Torres from Valencia, and they can't even pay 50 mil for him. We're talking today, I've seen another report that we're looking at three midfielders. One of them's probably Buadi. Buadi, is an 18-year-old coming from Lille. He might be great. I'm happy to see where that signing goes, absolutely. But the only report we've had in terms of a fee was from David Ornstein originally, which was €100 million, which is about £85 million. 85 mil for an 18-year-old coming from Lille, but we can't even get £50 million for the best six in the world, when one of the biggest clubs in the world, probably the second biggest club in the world, are coming in for him. Or the biggest club, whichever one he ends up going to. Seriously, come on. I mean, we're looking at more midfielders. Even if we don't just look at it, at players that we're looking at, or other players that have gone. Reinders is potentially one of the ones leaving. The whole reason we're looking at getting more midfielders in is because, players like Reinders are leaving. Nottingham Forest. I know we've just gave them money for Anderson, so that's probably where it's all coming from. But Nottingham Forest are willing to pay 60 mil for Reinders. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't hate him personally. I don't think he was shit, but he didn't have a great season last season, and yet Nottingham Forest are willing to pay 60 mil for him. That's more than we bought him for. And he probably actually, even forgetting the World Cup, he arguably had a worse season than Rodri. Genuinely. And Rodri spent half the season out. If you had the World Cup into it, he blew him out the water with a season. They're going to pay 60 mil. I don't give a flying fuck if he's got 1 year left on his contract. I couldn't care less. Seriously. We are talking about one of the best players in the world. And people will say, well, you only paid 25 mil for Gahey when he had 1 year left on his contract. With all due respect, mate, he might have been one of the best defenders in the league when he was at Palace. But we're buying from Palace. He's not one of the best defenders in the world, is he? It's a bit different. He was probably one of the best defenders in the league. I'm not unhappy with Gahey, by the way. I'm not having a go with him. But he wasn't one of the best defenders in the world. Let's not go there. He might sneak into it. He might have snuck into the top 10, but he was not in the top 5 in the world. Rodri is the best in his position. Come on, we can. How we're not at least getting the equivalent price to what we're going to be paying for Buadi? Probably. That is blasphemous, I say. Genuinely, just need to put your foot down and get a grip and show your actual stance. They've already took the piss out of us. We're not giving us that 8 mil for Ferran Torres. Real Madrid constantly take the piss out of everyone. And they constantly do this to multiple clubs. So we know what they're doing as well. put your foot down, show what type of club you are. Yes, I don't want someone that's there that's going to be unhappy that he's there, but let's be honest, I mean, the bloke doesn't even have social media. Like, he doesn't even get tattoos because he wants to give his blood away. Do you seriously think the same bloke's going to sit there kicking up this massive fuss if he stays here for one more year and ends up leaving to one of them anyway? Probably not. But I just don't get it. It's shameful offers from these two clubs, and you're talking about being a powerhouse, a global powerhouse and all this. Well, if you keep letting this sort of thing happen, then you're just showing that you've got no minerals, really. And I took the mick out of Man United, and I'll probably continue to take the piss out of them for the way that they, with the Anderson deal and the Mateus Fernandes deal, they weren't willing to go up to these prices because they didn't want to get involved in the market. Now I thought, fucking shut up. You were part of what made the market like this in the first place. You fucking have to deal with it if you want to get certain players. And yeah, I'll still probably take the piss out of them for it. But we are letting clubs, when we're going in for players, take the piss out of us with money. I haven't even got into Neto. Chelsea want us to pay 81 million pounds. We haven't looked at Gusto since, but when we were interested in 75 million pounds we wanted for Gusto. We've just paid 116 mil for Anderson. Genuinely, people are taking the piss out of us. It wouldn't even be taking the piss out of Madrid or Barca to make them try and pay 100 mil if they want it. It wouldn't even be taking the piss, but we can't even do that. Come on, do not let him go. I swear, do not let him go. Minimum, bare minimum should be whatever the equivalent of what we're going to be paying for Buwadi is. Because if you seriously think one of these other midfielders that we're looking at as well, even if you forget Buwadi, they're not going to scam at least another 10-20 mil on what probably it actually is worth for the play that is coming in, because they know we're going to be looking in that situation then for a Rodri replacement. If obviously it's after Rodri goes, then you've lost your marbles. But yeah, Rant, a lot of people probably feel the same way, and it probably might have been a useless rant if they don't let him go. But even though you're probably not going to be asked about little old me telling you what to do not let them take the piss out of us. Genuinely, keep him for a year if that's the case, but do not let them dictate this, not this badly anyway. If you're going to go less than 100, it has to be whatever we're paying for Buwadi. It has to be that at a minimum, especially when we're looking at Neto. And I know apparently we're not going to be willing to go up to Chelsea's prices, but Neto, apparently they want 81 million euros for him. 81 million euros. So clubs are allowed to ask that for people like him, but we can't ask for 100 mil when it would actually be warranted. 100 mil is probably actually being nice, if we're being honest with you. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say.